This is day 6 of our Japanese tour, October 2018. We travelled from Nikko through Tokyo down to Odawara and spent the day in the Odawara Castle. We used the last day of our 3-day Nikko pass and travelled to Tokyo and then caught the local train down to Odawara railway station. The local train to Odawara was nice and comfortable and didn't take that long. We arrived at the station and had a bit of a look around and then walked the 5 minutes, or worked out to be about 10 minutes, to the Odawara Castle, and using Google Maps it was easy to find. We walked up into the castle precinct proper and took some photographs. Of all the Japanese castles, this was the most photogenic, and if you pause this and have a real good look. The castle was built in the 15th century, and a clan called Hojo occupied it during the Warring States era. And in 1590 it was attacked by another crowd, another clan, and taken over, and Japan was reunited. It's had a colourful rebuilding period, and an example of that was in 1703. It was destroyed by an earthquake and then rebuilt in 1870 and then dismantled and sold off, and then it was rebuilt in 1960 with ferro cement. It's been restored a number of times, both before and after our visit. The outside it looks like it's 3 stories, but on the inside it's 4. The top story is where we are in this video, having a good look around and scenic views of the city of Odawara. The castle's exhibits include swords and armour and other stuff, including a detailed description of the layout of the castle. As I said, this was held by the Hojo clan, and this is where the history of ninjas and samurais has a deeper meaning. Of course, there was an entry fee to get into the castle itself, and including the armour and swords. There's a bit of an exhibit on the structure of the building and a map. Here's another map of the old complex. Before you enter this museum, download the app of Odawara Castle and use that as the guide. It's electronic and it senses where you stop in the exhibits and then goes through and explains each one. I didn't know about it prior to making this video, but you've got to have the app. Otherwise you just don't know what you're looking at. And of course you can't go to any exhibit without taking photographs of yourself dressed up in these samurai costumes and other things. It was difficult to use a camera with the glare from the glass when you use the flash. So if you've got a good camera you don't have those sorts of problems. We just had the GoPro and the mobile phones. The crockery and utensils were interesting, but obviously nobody really goes there to look at those. They're more interested in the history of the samurai uniforms, and going from the early ones here to the more elaborate one. And as you progress down the line, they became more elaborate, and so you can watch the next 10 photographs. And I'll just keep quiet. The main attraction is obviously the castle keep, but then there's other areas like the Ninja Museum and the Samurai Museum in the outer grounds, including a little bit of a zoo, and I didn't particularly think too much of their cages, quite confined for the animals. And then in the main area there was some entertainment, some kind of festival. You could hire ninja costumes and go into the Ninja Museum and pretend to be a ninja. And you could hire samurai suits as well and do the photo thing. So from here we just walked around the rest of the complex and took photographs on our way. We walked to the Odawara Station and caught the Hakone Tokaido train to Gora, and then because everything was closed we had to travel by bus to the Tojenda Onsen that we'd booked, the Klingelju Born, and it was an absolute difficult to find in the dark, but we finally found it using Google Maps, and it was well worth it. It was so comfortable and so peaceful. We had a spa, hot spring spa, and this was breakfast, and breakfast was wonderful as well. So the video was produced by myself. It's the end of another exciting video of our Japanese tour, day 6, October 2018, the Odawara Castle.